Hello and welcome to the Film Pulse Podcast. This is episode number 324. My name's Adam Patterson. With me today, we got Kevin Rakestraw. Hey, Kevin.
Hey, what's up?
This week on the show, we'll be talking about Amy Poehler's Wine Country, along with someone watching on the watch list, and going over this week's new releases in theaters, VOD, and Blu-ray. Thank you so much for joining us today. Remember, you can help support Film Pulse by becoming a patron at patreon.com/filmpulse for just $1 a month. Also, please consider reviewing us on iTunes. That would be extremely helpful as well. A couple housekeeping bits before we dive in today. There's a new Film Pulse Plays up on the site and on our YouTube channel right now. I know that I haven't done that series in a really long time. I kind of abandoned it. But I recently discovered that The City of Lost Children, the film from 1995, the Genet film, actually got a PlayStation game version. Like, it was adapted into a PlayStation game. And after I discovered it, I was like, I have to do something about this. So I got the game. I recorded me playing it from beginning to end. I beat the whole game in about an hour and a half. It's a very short game.
Wow.
A very short game. And I made a little video on it. So check it out if you're interested in that. And I'm thinking about maybe bringing the series back. And I'm just trying to find more obscure stuff. Like,
The fact that there's a City of Lost Children video game
yeah.
is just insane to me.
Yeah. I mean, at this point, I'm only looking for the like really obscure things. I mean, that's kind of what I did from the very beginning, doing like the Lawnmower Man and Hudson Hawk and the Page Master. These are slightly more obscure titles. Like, I'm not going to do any kind of, I don't know, like Pokemon or something.
Yeah, you just
like
it's something that you can't pass up.
Yeah.
City of Lost Children, for Christ's sake.
So there's a couple other ones that I discovered recently, and I might do videos on them if I can track down like reasonable copies. The thing is, like, a lot of these games are like pretty rare now. So like City of Lost Children is very expensive. It's like $90 on eBay if you want a complete copy of it, or more.
Damn.
Like 90 is like the average, but it goes up from there. You can find like just the disc, where it's just the disc by itself, nothing else, for like some of the listings are like $30-$40, but
Wow.
yeah. Anyway,
Wow.
yeah, check that out. No, Ryan watches a movie again this week. He said moving, but I don't know if he's like, I don't know what's going on. New carpet, I guess.
He is. He's enjoying that new carpet.
Yeah, so he said, so just a little behind the scenes, we record those episodes a week early. So he said that he should be good for this coming week. So hopefully we'll get something in the can this week and then be able to release it next week.
Okay.
I'm hoping. And then finally, we are going to be recording a new Saved by the 90s, the May episode. We're going to be recording that next week. So that should be up very shortly thereafter. I will post something on our Saved by the 90s Twitter when that is done and when we have a release date set. I'm very excited. I mean, I always get, it's funny because like every month, whenever we lock down the theme, I get really excited. Like, I just can't wait to dive into these movies. So I'm not ready to give away what we're doing just yet, but I'm trying to think of like a hint. They're all May movies, and they're all from the same year this time around. So
Okay.
Looking forward to that. Let's get into our review this week. We're talking about Wine Country. This is directed by Amy Poehler. I have a synopsis here. When a group of longtime girlfriends goes to Napa for the weekend to celebrate their friend's 50th birthday, tensions from the past boil over. This is available on Netflix right now. Kevin, we'll start it with you. What did you think of Wine Country?
There's tensions always
boiling. They're boiling everywhere.
They always
Bubbling and boiling.
And they just come up to the surface, and then you got to face it. You got to confront it. There's nothing you can do. You can't get away from it. It's inevitable. I think for the most part, I enjoyed it. I thought it was funny enough. The only thing that would kind of bump me out is everything's just kind of light and for the most part carefree and just fun. And then there's this section of, because of it being Rachel Drash's character's 50th birthday, that's why they're celebrating in Napa Valley or whatever. For some reason, they have to do this like they're angry at millennials thing, which just felt really like uninspired
Mm-hmm.
and just like played out. And like the comedy that they were mining from that wasn't good at all. Like it was all very basic. And it just, that was really the main roadblock for me, the stumbling block, if you prefer. But I think everything outside of that was pretty good.
Yeah.
I found myself chuckling and chortling.
Yeah, there were definite chuckles, definite chortles. I enjoyed a lot of the just little kind of one-off gags. I will agree with you that it was just a kind of a light, fun little comedy. I think that it's Netflix suits it. It is definitely a Netflix movie where it's, you know, not a lot to say about it.
Yeah.
there's I don't have a lot of criticisms with it. I think that I will agree with you that some of the bits didn't necessarily land. The one that I was going to talk to you about was the sort of the millennial thing, the art museum scene, which it felt odd. Like that was just a weird scene that almost seemed like it was like added later or something, where
That's why they went out of their way to include that. And
yeah,
it's like, this is not strong at all. Like
yeah,
it doesn't work. You didn't need to do this. You did not need to detour this movie in order to fit this in.
I like that it was Fran Drescher.
Yeah.
this the pieces were all around the nanny, but
And you know, of all the art that was in that art show, that was the art you know, that would piss me off the least. Everything else was garbage. I mean, that was at least like they were decent pictures, decent paintings of Fran Drescher as the nanny.
yeah. So like some of the smaller jokes and statements that they were making, I don't think landed. I think a lot of the sort of broader themes that they were tackling worked better. Like you know, when they are introduced to Tina Fey, who's the owner of the like Airbnb that they're staying at, and how she was sort of like, she's seen this before. She knows sort of the patterns, and how she was telling them like, never start a sentence with "can I just say something?" and then that was like an ongoing thing throughout the whole movie. They would always just be like, "Can I just say something?"
Yeah, that never ends well.
No, it really never does. I liked that. I thought that they spent, for the most part, being a pretty robust ensemble. I thought that they did a good job of juggling each of the individual storylines. I mean, you have these friends, and each of them is dealing with their own sort of issue. And I thought that they did a pretty good job of handling each one of them. You know, Amy Poehler lost her job, and Rachel Drash is dealing with the fact that she's turning 50 and is not in a good marriage, and Anna Gasteyer is like a workaholic, and she's letting her work consume her, and Maya Rudolph is waiting for these test results from her doctor, and Paula Pell is lonely and just struggling to find someone to be with. She's great, by the way, Paula Pell. She was, I think, one of the strongest of the crew. I think she's fantastic in the show AP Bio. She's so funny in that show, and she was really funny in this. Although I think that she was a little bit underutilized. She's like her character in AP Bio is a laugh riot. and she might have been a little underutilized in this. And then finally you have is it Emily Spivey?
Yeah,
She's the last one, is Jenny, and she's just sort of I felt like they didn't explore her character as much, but
and she's not, she's kind of I would say the minor one out of everyone, like maybe the least amount of screen time, but man, when she gets it, I think
yeah, she's hilarious.
When she gets her little speech about realizing that she's a piece of shit.
Yeah.
It's just like, Jesus
very,
Christ.
Very self-deprecating, and I could see myself in her a lot.
Yeah, I definitely felt a kinship there.
Yeah. How like she wasn't even going to go and they didn't even expect her to go. Like that's definitely me. And I think that that's one of the strongest elements of this movie, is that it's with all of these characters, it's insanely relatable. Like you can definitely see yourself in at least one or two of these characters. The like the scene when, I think it's in one of the trailers, at least one of the trailers, where they're thinking about doing Molly, but they have to figure out if it's gonna somehow affect the other medications that they're on, and they're just listing all of their medications. The CPAP thing I thought was pretty funny, just because I myself recently had to get a CPAP machine, and it's the same one. The one that I have is the same one that's in the movie, although my mask is different. I have a different mask, but
I love it. I do love when Schwartzman's just standing there and he's like, "Hey, is there any chance we could have sex?" And the amount of time,
they
just sits on Poehler's face as she just blinks and just runs it through her mind.
Yeah, so Jason Schwartzman was in this too. He was very funny in this. I liked his character of Devin.
Paella.
The paella. It's gonna be like 4 more hours, guys. I'm sorry. It's gonna take a little longer.
It's like a 47-hour paella. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, that was.
And I love that they just dropped it. Like at one point, it was he acknowledged that it was going to take a couple more hours. I guess it's just simmering unattended all this time. And then finally they're just like, we don't give a fuck about it. We don't want it. And then it's just dropped. It's never brought up again. No one ever tastes the paella. We don't even know what happens to it. It probably just burnt. It's probably black as can be, sitting over there. It's probably still cooking as we speak.
Probably. Yeah. Yep. Tina Fey's character is Tammy. Very funny. Could have used a little bit more of her, but the character of Jade, played by Maya Erskine, she's really funny. I can see her. She's been in a lot of stuff recently, and I could see her just blowing up. She's in a movie called Plus One that's coming out relatively soon, and she's very funny in it. She's hilarious in it, actually.
Okay. Another thing that I thought was odd, which I don't know if this is like it has to be baked in, but the Brene Brown thing. Like, I had no idea who that person is.
I didn't either.
Like it made no sense to me. And then as soon as we were done watching this movie, you come up on Netflix page, like one of the other things was like a Brene Brown, like Netflix special type deal. And I was just like, oh, is that like a Netflix thing? Like you have to include her?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean,
because I've never heard of her. I have no idea who she is.
Well, but you're not a middle-aged woman. Maybe she's very popular within that crowd, and that was the joke. I mean, they make a lot of jokes about like podcasts and stuff and NPR.
They all download the podcast. Just remembering the raccoons, the family of raccoons.
Yeah.
Raccoon dad. Oh, God.
The one thing that I did like about the scene, the Fran Drescher art show scene, was the fact that she ended up buying one of the paintings. Val's Paula Pell's character. She ended up buying one of the paintings. It was like this giant painting, and they're like, "How are you going to get that home?" She goes, "I don't know. I'll fucking fold it." Yeah, very funny.
It's good stuff. Good stuff. I mean, there's a little, like I said, there's a couple portions in there that I don't think were, and it's still that biggest one is the millennial thing. Because again, it feels like they went out of their way to squeeze that in there for some reason, and it was like you didn't have to. Like, it would have been fine without that.
I mean, I think that it's one thing to joke about how, you know, you're to the age where you're out of touch with the youth and make jokes about that, but then they do that, but then they also kind of poke fun at the youth, which is fine, but I just didn't think it was necessarily.
But it's so generic.
Yeah,
it's the type of jokes that you've heard God knows how many times now.
Right.
It's just like, we get it. You can't use computers and you're mad about it. Fucking get over it. It's called Google. Just fucking Google it.
You don't know what Snapchat is. I understand.
You couldn't get into Snapchat. I don't understand how she lost her job because of that. I got fuckers at work that don't know how to do save as. And they're fucking supervisors.
Yeah. That's all I really have to say about it. I think that it's easy to recommend this just because it is on Netflix and it's just a light, fun watch. I think that this is actually based on true events. And
it's just to have all these funny women together. I mean, because honestly, these are some of my favorites, and to have them all in one thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I just like, I also like when they do the wine tasting stuff, and they're not really into it, but for some reason, like, people like to talk about wine here, and the woman's just like, well, yeah.
The when they go to the organic vineyard with the sediment. What do you call this? I
don't know, mud, dirt. And I just the visual of the walk in the vineyards, and the just cuts to them all walking.
Yeah, they're all walking through the vineyard. And I liked the interaction that they had with the other wine guy when he goes, "There's no wrong answers." And she's like, "Canned peaches?" He goes, "No."
I forget what the other one was. He's just, well, that's egregious.
Yeah, he's what was it? Lavender? Maybe? But yeah.
Canned peaches. I don't know why, but canned peaches. It's the fact that it's canned.
Right.
That she specifically said it's not just peaches. Because you could easily say peaches, but it's canned peaches. And she's right, because canned peaches do have a very different taste than peaches.
Mm-hmm. I think it's the syrup.
Yeah.
I think if this movie has taught us anything, is that we need more Rachel Dratch in everything.
Oh my God. Yeah.
She's never not funny.
Correct. That is 100% correct.
She's so incredible. All right. Let's give this a score. I think I'm sitting at around a 7 out of 10 on Wine Country.
I'm gonna give you the same exact score.
There
Lock
we go.
It in hand.
Check it out. It's on Netflix right now. Easy recommend. All right, let's talk about some of what we've been watching. I think it's your turn to kick it off this week, Kevin.
Oh shit! I'm not ready. You go real quick. I gotta pull up stuff.
I had a pretty light week. I was recovering from Tribeca, so sort of took a little bit of a break from watching stuff. I did see Pokemon Detective Pikachu. I have a review for this up on the site. I heard relatively good things about this, so I was like, you know what? I'll give it a look. And you know what? It's okay. It's pretty good. Now,
All right.
I should preface this by saying I'm not a huge Pokemon fan. I feel like we were just a little bit too old to
Mhm.
hit the Pokemon wave. I think that if we were maybe even 3 years younger, I probably would have been a massive Pokemon fan. I know I would be, but
Yeah.
we just missed it. I did have the original game for Game Boy back in the day when it came out, but even then I wasn't a huge fan. So I played a few of the games since then. I don't hate the franchise or anything like that, but I'm just not super into it. So you know, going into it, I was like, all right, I had no expectations one way or the
Yeah.
other. And I really liked a lot of aspects of this movie. It's sort of billed as this like neo noir. It takes place in this city, this fictional city called Rhyme City, where humans and Pokemon coexist, and the city is fully realized. It's visually stunning. They did a really great job of the world building in this movie. The design of the Pokemon themselves, they look really cool. I mean, the animation for the most part is really well done. I mean, these things look real, and they did a really good job with that. It's very funny. There's a lot of really funny moments. I liked the sort of detective work, the mystery aspect of it, a lot more than the big action set pieces that take place later on in the movie. And so I think I would have rather have it been this sort of like hard boiled detective story with, this guy played by Justice Smith and his Pikachu that he can understand, who talks, voiced by Ryan Reynolds. It was a little weird to hear like Deadpool's voice coming out of Pikachu's mouth,
Yeah.
because it's like a very similar character too, where he's sort of like wisecracking all the time.
Yeah.
So it was a
I
little
don't know if I
jarring.
could. I don't know if I could get past that.
It's a little jarring, but he's just so adorable, and the fact that the Psyduck was another one of the main like Pokemon characters in this, which is like the goofiest looking Pokemon. It was great. There's a lot of hand holding through this. It is a kids movie. I mean, it's definitely designed for kids. So there's a lot of like rehashes of the plot, and just spell everything out. Everything's pretty predictable. Like you can kind of see the path that this is going to take from
Mm.
very early on. Like there's some twists, and I saw them coming a mile away. So, it's a little bit annoying, but at the same time, it's a kids movie, so I understand why they did that. They wanted to make sure that
Yeah.
kids or stupid people seeing the movie understood, like could understand and follow what was happening. A lot of exposition, but overall, I would say it's a pretty good time. So I would give it a light recommend.
Okay. I finally got to see Jewel Dasson's Uptight from 1968. This popped up on the Criterion channel with a little introduction by Barry Jenkins. So I've had this on my watch list for a while because it stars. Well, it doesn't star. He's kind of the main character, but it's more of a side role. Max Julien, huge Max Julien fan, and I heard that his performance in this is pretty great. So I kind of went into it with incorrect expectations. So I was really coming at it for Max Julien, and he's really not in it that much. So that kind of threw me off a little bit. And then he's also doing this really fake voice, it was a little bit jarring
Mm.
for me because I'm just like, what the hell is this? What's going on here? But what makes up for it is Julian Mayfield's performance. He is fucking unbelievable in this movie. And what it is it takes place right after Martin Luther King Jr.'s assassination, and the beginning of the film opens up with like documentary footage of his funeral, and then it kind of goes from there. In Cleveland, Ohio, these black militants have decided that like enough's enough with this nonviolence shit. They're gonna Max Julian and his buddies are going to rob this armory, get all these guns, all this ammunition, and then they're gonna start a revolution. So they get Julian Mayfield. He's supposed to go along with them. He's their fourth guy. They need him. They need 4 guys, but he's drunk. So they do it alone. Max Julian's character ends up shooting the guard, and the police are looking for him. And Julian Mayfield, he plays tank. He gets kicked out of the militants. They don't want him around because he's drunk. And now he's worried about his best friend is wanted by the police. They put money out for him, like $1,000, and he's dirt poor. He doesn't have anything, and he's kind of thrust into the situation of giving his best friend up in order to get some money. So he's kind of pressured into it, and then it kind of goes on from there. And there's one scene in particular where he makes his money. He gets his $1,000, and of course he goes out and just buys everyone drinks. And he's getting trashed, getting shit-faced, which, I mean, just a terrible decision right off the bat, because everyone knows you got money now. So they're going to put 2 and 2 together. But he ends up going to this, like, arcade-type place, and he's just kind of hanging out by himself. And this real rich group of white people come in their Rolls Royce, and it really doesn't make sense. But I love this about movies, where they ask him, what's the plan? What are the black militants going to do? And he just obliges them, and he just fucks with them and goes through his plan. But in order to go through the plan, he goes over to the funhouse mirrors, and they follow him over there. And then he goes through the plan, and it's all shot through the funhouse mirrors. So everything's distorted, and it's just ridiculous looking, and it's just phenomenal. There's absolutely no reason for this other than it looks great. And I like when movies are brazen enough to do that.
Mm-hmm.
We do it because it looks good. And it looks phenomenal.
Oh, yeah.
And can't recommend it enough.
And that's Uptight from 1968. The only other one that I'll really mention, I don't even know if I'll say it's a movie. It's Of Mikes and Men. I mean, it's a sort of a TV show. It's a 4-part documentary series. Okay. And it's about the Wu-Tang Clan. And it's on Showtime. If you have the Showtime streaming, you can watch the whole thing. But I think that they're airing it on Showtime weekly. So the first episode is up. But if you have the Showtime streaming service, you can watch the whole 4-part series. It's directed by Sasha Jenkins, and it's a comprehensive documentary about the Wu-Tang Clan. It starts with them, getting together, and it goes all the way up until now. And the way that it's presented is very interesting. First, I'll say it's a little messy. They kind of jump all over the place. It's not like this sort of cohesive timeline of events. They will go off on like little tangents. Like in the 3rd episode, they spent a lot of time on like ODB, and sometimes they'll take these little side paths and like talk about a specific group member and like their backstory, where they grew up and their family life and stuff like that. So it is a little bit messy, especially when you're trying to figure out the timeline of events. But there's a lot of really fascinating stuff in here. I mean, this is a very, very candid expose on one of my favorite hip hop groups. And I learned, I thought I knew a lot about them and sort of their history. This has a lot of information in it that I didn't know. So it's very well produced. It looks great. One of the things that they do is it's sort of framed around them all in a movie theater. And so like they get all of the members in a movie theater and they're like watching clips of, and that's the other thing. There's tons of like home video footage and stuff in here, like footage of them writing songs and putting songs together for their first album, and video of them in their first recording sessions, like recording Protect Your Neck and stuff. So there's,
I mean, it's worth it just for that.
Yeah, it is. Like a lot of really great footage of like really early days, and it's just, a lot of it is sort of them just reacting to this like footage and stuff, and like having little side conversations about the footage that they're watching on the movie screen. And I thought that that was a really interesting thing to do with it. Also, that it's at times very confrontational. Like there was a lot of, I mean, the group is still together, but they had a lot of problems in like the late 90s and through into the 2000s, and they're not afraid to confront each other like immediately about it. Like they straight up confront RZA to his face in the documentary about some of the, you know, business practices that he did, and I thought that was also quite fascinating. They talk about the whole Once Upon a Time in Shaolin, the, you know, the one of a kind, the Martin Shkreli thing. And that in and of itself was really interesting, especially because they reveal that like all of the other members didn't even know about this thing. Like they didn't know that they were planning on doing that. And they were paid like $2,000 to like lay down a verse, and they didn't even know what it was for. And they had no idea that this album was even a thing.
Oh my God.
Yeah. RZA knew, but nobody else did.
Oh, RZA.
Yeah. So there's a lot of just really crazy stuff in this. If you're even a casual fan of Wu-Tang, I would highly recommend checking it out. It's really, really good. And again, it's called Of Mics and Men. It's on Showtime.
All right. I got one here, one last one. That's called Long Lost. This was, it's on Amazon Prime, streaming on there. I didn't really have any expectations for this. I just decided to, you know, I was asked to check it out. So I was like, I'll check it out, see what this is about. And it's, you know, the type of film where someone gets invited to a really, really wealthy estate and not really quite sure what's going on. But here it's his long lost brother decides to have him up so they can catch up. But you know something right off the bat, something's going on here. Because he has to sign a NDA right off the bat, which seems odd I mean, right there, I think I would say that I would probably not agree to do this. Because that seems a little bit odd, does it not? You're supposed to be catching up with family. But
yeah,
the majority of what's happening throughout, you have this undercurrent that there's more to it. There's an ulterior motive here. You're not quite sure what it is because early on, the long lost brother, the super wealthy guy, his live-in girlfriend shows up, and the brother Seth that came up, he had no idea. And everything's just a bit weird. It's a bit off. So you know something's going on, but majority of what's happening, which is all essentially just build up, it's kind of low stakes, just kind of like hanging out. They immediately settle into like a sibling rivalry, and they play these stupid games for like actual money because the wealthy brother, Nicholas Tucci, plays him, and he's fantastic because he's a really bizarre, like the way he plays it, because he's this like fraternity dude bro, but he's also like the most eccentric wealthy person, and just the way that he plays him is so bizarre, and that really keeps the interest going because for much of the film you're not really quite sure what's going on or what the purpose is until the very end when it's revealed, which for me it was worth it. The reveal I thought worked. It made everything, it essentially shifted everything that happened before it. you know, and it's a difficult one because you can't talk about it because you can't talk about the end because you spoil the whole damn thing. Fucking ruin it. I don't want to ruin it. But it's definitely worth it in order to get to that end. I was kind of surprised, pleasantly surprised by this one.
And that's Long Lost. All right, let's take a look at what we have in theaters this week. We got Shaun the Sheep movie Farmageddon coming out.
Okay.
Another one of those Shaun the Sheep movies. Never really was never really into those.
Yeah, I didn't know that was like a thing.
Yeah, no, very little marketing behind this.
Yeah, this is the first I've heard of it.
Oh, the only reason I know about it is because I was looking at the like upcoming release calendar and saw it. So yeah, no emails, no nothing. Didn't see any trailers. We have The Third Wife coming out.
Okay.
John Wick Chapter 3 Parabellum. That's the biggie.
Hell yeah.
So the reviews started coming in for this one. It currently has a 98%.
Oh boy.
Overwhelmingly positive.
Wonderful.
You have yet to see John Wick 2.
That is correct.
Is that correct?
Yeah. Yes.
Well, you need to rectify that situation.
I will at some point. Believe me.
Well, maybe you can do it before John Wick 3.
Yeah, that would be ideal. No promises. But
A Dog's Journey is coming out. That's the sequel to what is, I don't even remember what the first one was. Like A Dog's Promise or something. Is that what it was? What was the original one called?
I have no idea, but now it's called A Dog's Promise. Forever and always.
What was it called? It was maybe it was A Dog's Purpose. I think that's what it was.
That
A Dog's
makes a little
Purpose.
Dog's Promise.
You know, I'm a huge dog lover. We've talked about it numerous times on the show, but these movies,
love those dogs. I fucking love those dogs.
These movies, though, big no for me.
Are they faith based? Is that what they are?
I don't think so.
Are these Christian dogs?
No,
Christian dogs.
No, I don't think so. But they're just. Okay. I mean, they're certainly family friendly, but I think it's like about the dog is like reincarnated. So like this person, like every dog they have, it's like the same person or it's the same dog.
Okay. So
the same soul, same dog's soul protecting its owner.
It sounds like it's stealth face based.
Yeah, I'd say so. But
like the dog went to heaven.
The thing I don't like about it is that it's one of these like look who's talking style things where you're hearing the dog's inner thoughts. Doesn't look good to me. Let's see what else we have here. The Sun is Also a Star. We have The Souvenir. I just saw a trailer for The Sun is Also a Star, and it looks pretty rough. The Meanest Man in Texas. We Have Always Lived in the Castle. The Professor. Aniara. That's that kind of indie sci-fi movie that has a really great poster.
Oh, okay. I knew that sounded familiar.
Photograph. Perfect, which I believe is also coming to VOD. I'm not sure if it's this week or getting a slightly delayed VOD release, but that's the one that's executive produced by Soderbergh, and it's, I think, produced and the music is done by Flying Lotus.
Okay.
It's a kind of trippy looking sci-fi movie about this guy who like goes to this clinic where they like implant characteristics into you to like make you a more perfect human.
Okay.
It looks visually pretty good. I'm not really sure about the rest, but all right, let's see what else we have here. Trial by Fire. That's the one with Laura Dern and who's the lead actor? Jack O'Connell.
Mm.
It could be decent. And finally, All Creatures Here Below on VOD this week. We have Life Hack. This comes out the 13th. So as you're listening to this will be available. It's a weird release. There's also another Monday release, How You Look at Me. I like it when they put out, I feel like it should just be Tuesdays and Fridays. Put the bigger stuff out on Fridays, put all the DVD and like smaller things out on Tuesdays, and just that's it. None of these weird like Monday, Wednesday releases.
Everyone's trying to set themselves apart.
Yeah, I mean, I guess that's what's it's happening in video games too, whereas like before video games were released on just set days, and now they're just kind of coming out all over the place.
It's just the fucking wild, wild west now.
I think it's just because there's so much. There's so much that's happening.
Plus, just release it whenever you want to release it. Who cares anymore?
Yeah, I guess with digital distribution, they don't really have to abide by any kind of release schedule.
Yeah.
Anyway, the 14th, we have Saint Bernard, which is this kind of surreal horror movie. We also have High Moon. On the 16th, we have Good Sam, which is Netflix release. And then on Friday, we have A Violent Separation, All Creatures Here Below, Shed of the Dead, which is, as it sounds, a horror comedy. That's a zombie horror comedy. We have Always Lived in the Castle, and it looks like that's about it for VOD this week. Let's take a look at Blu-ray. Apollo 11 is coming out. That's the documentary from, was it earlier this year? I'm not sure if that was 2018 or 2019, but heard pretty good things about that. Happy Death Day to You comes out. That's worth a look. Fighting with My Family. That's the biopic.
Yeah. That's
WWE.
I like that one.
Oh, you saw it?
I saw it. Yeah. It was fun.
Yeah, directed by Stephen Merchant. So Cold Pursuit coming out. That's the one with Liam Neeson. I liked that. That's quite good. It sucks that right when that movie came out was when all the stuff came to light about him.
Yeah.
His racist remarks, and that really brought that movie down big time.
It sure did.
Ghosts of Mars is coming out. That's getting a new Blu-ray release from 2001. That's the John Carpenter one. I like that movie. I have a feeling if I revisited it now, I probably wouldn't, but back when this came out, I enjoyed it.
Yeah, don't sully it.
Yeah, I'm not. The Devil's Night from 1971 coming out. The Landlord from 1970.
Nice.
The Chosen from 1977. Yakuza Law from 1969 coming out on Arrow.
All right.
Saint Bernard is coming out. That's the one that's also hitting VOD. 1998's Boogie Boy is coming out on the MVD Rewind Collection. Talked about that series previously, the MVD series. I like what they're doing. Putting out these like kind of previously maligned 90s movies. Birds of Passage from last year is coming out. The 1976 version of A Star is Born is getting a Blu-ray release.
Okay.
That's pretty much all I have. What about Criterion's this week?
2 of them. You can get 2. You got David Mamet's House of Games from 1987, which has got some documentaries on there, some interviews, got commentary from Mamet and Ricky Jay. And then you got Funny Games, 1997's Funny Games, the old Haneke.
Boy.
Yeah.
Yeah, we should have a review for this up sometime soon.
Yeah, that's the original one, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, new English subtitle translation.
I didn't find the original translation to be.
Well, how would you know? You wouldn't fucking know.
Yeah, maybe I wouldn't. I mean, I guess when saying that, I didn't recall any like egregious errors. But
They also got new interviews with Haneke, one of the actors. So you got new stuff on there. It's a whole bunch of new stuff. You can experience Funny Games, the original Funny Games, in a new way.
He hasn't put anything out in a while.
No, he hasn't.
It's been several years.
And even, what was the last movie? Happy End? Is that what it's called?
Maybe.
Like it played some festivals and stuff, and then I just kind of never heard of it again.
Yeah,
I don't even know if it ever came out. I've never seen it.
I'm not sure. All right. I think that's going to do it for this week. Thank you so much for listening. You can send us your questions and topics to podcast@filmpulse.net. You can follow us on Twitter @FilmPulseNet and @FilmPulseKevin. And if you have a minute, take a look at our Patreon page, patreon.com/FilmPulse. Consider helping us out by becoming a subscriber. For Kevin Rakestraw, my name's Adam Patterson. We'll see you next week.